Minion was on an ATV ride, but we had to stop for some reason. We were just riding the trails here on the property when we discovered all kinds of trees had fallen, and some of them are across the trails. It was pretty easy to clear the trail up itself, but I have a conglomeration of trees that's hung up in other trees and just hanging over the entire trail. Everything's attached with vines, it's a real mess. I'm not an expert tree cutter. Where I really wanted to cut this tree was about 10 feet in the air, but I'd rather have my feet on the ground and a place to run if I need to. Made a relief cut on the bottom of this section, and then started cutting from the top, hoping my saw wouldn't get pinched. And yes, in case you're wondering, I am using an electric chainsaw. It's a Makita 18-volt dual battery brushless saw. If I did tree work every day, I'm pretty sure I'd own a gas saw because they are faster. But these are easy to maintain and the fuel is free because they get charged off my solar power. I was really hoping this was just going to snap off as I was cutting, but unfortunately the pressure of it leaning up into the other tree is pushing back directly against the trunk. Basically, I managed to get a perfect cut on it and it's completely separated from the other piece, but they're just wedged together. Only thing I could think of to do was just go lower on the trunk and do the same thing again.
Mins, is you a hot dog? Mins. Minion, is you a hot dog? Are you hot? You're doing a good job supervising. Yes. Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed with this scenario, so I picked up the most rotten branch I could find and hit it against the tree. I'm not doing anything, I'm having
fun. It's breaking it.
The rotten branch exploded every time I smacked the log, and it was great fun, but of course it accomplished nothing. I tried to cut it a little bit more, hoping that there were maybe just fibers holding it together, but when the trunk shifted about a half inch and it was still pressed tight together, I figured, well, yeah, that's not going to do anything. Special thanks to Minion for doing all the supervisor work and for Jen for holding the camera for me and getting all this great footage. Also wanted to let you guys know one of my most commonly asked questions is how do I start homesteading? And I answered that in a webinar on narrowwayhomestead.com. It's free. All you have to do is enter your email address and you can watch the almost 20-minute video yourself. Anyway, back to cutting the tree. As I was cutting along, I kept hearing popping and snapping. I kind of figured this thing would end up splitting before I completely finished the cut. The only thing I was really worried about was not getting smacked in the face. If I have to let go of the saw, so be it.
Ooh, it snapped.
I don't cut many trees out here, usually just the ones that fell in the way of the paths. I prefer to cut standing trees, however most of the time I don't need to cut standing trees, it's the fallen ones. And since I only burn 2 cords of firewood a year, I really don't need that much, so anything that falls usually makes up what I need for heat. Now that I got everything closer to the ground, the pressure's relieved, now I can just limb it all up and get it out of the way. Most of it I'm going to leave right there for now. I have a lot of other trees to take care of. As long as the logs aren't sitting directly on the ground, they won't rot away too quickly. I'm probably not supposed to cut anything at max arm reach, but I don't feel like going back and getting a ladder, and I just need to make sure the direction of the saw is away from me. Now the trail's finally clear and I can get on to the next tree.